Guys, it's Main here, back again with another account review. This is the first account review I'm doing post-vacation, post-time off. So if you guys, well, I guess we can start off talking about some stuff that's happened the past few weeks. Obviously, I haven't been active on YouTube or uploading or active in the Discord. You may have noticed that. The reason being is that I was at my wedding, actually. So I wasn't creating videos. I think you guys probably caught on this. If you were in the Discord, I definitely said something. I think the YouTube videos, I don't think I explicitly said I was going to my own wedding, but I had a wedding. That's why I was gone. And then right after that, I had a work conference I went to. So something local to Vegas I had to attend during the week, that like Labor Day week. So the entire time I was out for like 12-13 hours a day, just talking with people. And as you can imagine, I didn't have any time during that week to actually record any videos or catch up to anything, but I did kind of check in here and there just in the Discord, just, you know, talking to people, saying hey, making sure they know I'm alive and stuff. And I saw a bunch of YouTube comments recently on some videos talking about how the like mouth noises I make are excessive, and I do agree they are excessive. I hope you guys realize that during the free-to-play run, I tried to cut out or skip over most of the like clicks and stuff that I normally do, like when I'm talking and like breathing and stuff, because I do recognize it's annoying. However, I think the best way for me to kind of edit that out in the account reviews actually comes from just like self-control. So be mindful that I am trying and making an effort to fix that so that the viewing experience is a little bit better. And I just recognize that my face is relatively close to the microphone, and I don't know, it's really ingrained in me to like breathe. And I also have generally just like nasal problems and breathing problems. So some of that's out of my control. I will try to make a better effort so you guys don't have that kind of viewing experience anymore. I trust me when I say I do edit these videos and I do listen to that. I just haven't made much of a concerted effort to fix it. So I'm going to go forward in future reviews, this review included, to be more mindful of that. And I think that's the best way to combat it. I haven't, obviously I'm not listening to myself right now, but I feel like I'm doing a fairly good job right now. I think just taking a minute after each sentence to step away from the microphone and like breathe, I think that's probably going to be the best way to go about it. Anyways, without any further delay, let's go take a look at Moicano's account, just to kind of get back in the pace of things. Moicano was the most recent updated account. Today's currently September 10. It's Wednesday when I'm recording this video, just after work. And yeah, I think everyone else is around like September 3rd, August 4. So just this is the account highest on the list that also has been updated recently. Anyways, it's been 3 minutes of me rambling, talking about purely like administrative stuff, or just catching you guys up to, you know, where I've been. So hopefully you guys appreciate that. But, you know, going into the account, let's take a look at Moicano. Kind of we're nearing the end game for World 6. What I mean by that is, obviously, I mean, if you've been around for a while, you're at the end game of World 6. But what I mean is, you know, World 7's around the corner in a couple weeks. Supposedly in like October, November, somewhere like that. So right now it's just really prep time to get ready for World 7. No matter where you are, that's kind of what you want to try to do. Even if you're like a World 3, World 4 gamer, there's stuff you can do right now to kind of prep yourself for World 7. And a lot of that's going to come in like prepping the World 6 skills, trying to progress that as much as you can. If you don't have the master classes, I've learned that they are very powerful for early game players. Even if you can't actually progress the master class like game mode, for example, I've learned on my free-to-play account, which I'll kind of pop up here, it's very powerful. I recently got Arcane Cultist and Windwalker and Deathbringer on all my characters, just as a kind of sneak peek. But I've with my damage, I made it to red, and I've almost completed like the base summoning battles. Keep in mind, I'm not even at Sussy Gene, so like, am I like messing myself up in terms of you know, the quest line? I don't really think so, because I think endless summoning, you can do the quest anyways, but I don't know. I'm just kind of rambling at this point. So let me let's get away from the free to play for a second. Sorry, I recognize I breathed there. Sorry. Anyways, going back to Moicano's account, let's specifically talk about him. Just, you know, if you're an early game player, I think the best thing for you to do right now, just kind of prep yourself for World 7. And the best way to prep is just, you know, get damage generally. If any of the previous worlds are any indicator, which I suspect World 7 is going to be, you're going to need a lot of damage to progress it. And keep in mind that World 6, when World 7 drops, will get nerfed in terms of HP, in terms of accuracy. So it'll be easier for everyone to push. So if you're struggling in World 6 now, when World 7 drops, it'll be a little bit easier, and maybe you might be able to hit World 7 if you're kind of close to the end of World 6. So just getting to close to the end of World 6 is going to be fine for getting into World 7. That being said, should you tackle World 7 immediately? Maybe, maybe not. Just depends how powerful the buffs are and how important the skills are. So, I mean, based on where Moicano is that really something I recommend? Yeah, I mean, you're at Samurai Guardians. You probably can delve into the World 7 skills when they come in. When the world drops. Just because you're in a prime position to kind of get there. I think before World 7 drops, I think you're on this right now, but I'd probably do like Eclipse Skulls, trying to get the 1 billion kills across all the World 6 mobs to kind of prep. I imagine multi-kill still going to be useful, so I'd probably recommend, getting a little bit more kills on your mini bosses. You know, remember that your Dr. Defecus, your Baba Yaga, you can kill them every single day. I'd probably get on that, stack a bunch of Bonjo Pickles, and try to get to like 10k on them so you can get to the next tier of Skull. For Glunko, 10k, 100k. To 100k is relatively easy. I'd probably do that or so. Actually, now that I realize that, 10k is not the mark for the gold skulls. What, 7,500? 5k. Obviously, the two discussions right there. So get Dr. Defecus, Baba Yaga to 5k, just, you know, as a base. Mutated much, you know, as you have the spawns, I'd kill it, try to get that to 5k as well. Just that multi-kill you get from those mini bosses it's seemingly small, but it's somewhat large. You know, it's important to try to stack that up. So if you can, I would try to get on that grind, try to do your mini bosses, try to get those skulls stacked up to a higher tier. Hey Colby, what's up? Yeah, sorry. Again, I realize I'm breathing. It's a habit. I'm trying to break out of it. Understand I'm trying. Let's see, going to the dashboard, I saw you had killed your mini bosses. At least you're doing a good job in that respect. I would be mindful that your kangaroo reset, your Orion owl feather reset is soon. So I would, just keep that in the back of your mind that it's soon, so you can prep yourself and potentially get to the next mega feather just a little bit faster. Reminder that the 137 it's not like a true 137 days. It's just not taking into account the reset you have here. So right now, if you were to wait 138 days, you would be able to get this, but with your resets being mindful, it's going to significantly shrink this time. I think by 5x, that's how much like feather gain it is. Anyways, moving away from that. Something that I don't really talk about all that often, but something that I've been starting to employ a little bit more. People in the Discord have been kind of on a rampage talking about like Bubo and trying to do like liquid and cranium cooking and, just getting a bunch of liquid generation. Kind of a dumb but noticeable thing that I've noticed is actually V-Man is kind of sleeper OP for Alchemy a little bit. What I mean by that is you can't cranium cook on V-Man. So what am I talking about here? V-Man actually has an easier time of leveling in Alchemy than some of the other characters. It just depends how you remind yourself about it. So Crystal Countdown, these like green boxes and stuff you see here actually does impact Alchemy, and you are able to kill crystal mobs to reduce the EXP requirement for Alchemy, so you're able to level up Alchemy faster on your V-Man than you would be your other characters. So what does that mean? Well, reminder that these upgrades exist in the pay to win tab, the Alchemy speed, extra EXP, specifically the speed per Alchemy level. The more levels your character gets, the more liquid generation that they get. You'll notice here that my Arcane Cultist is getting plus 48% of liquid per hour, and my V-Man is getting 45%. Comparable to the other characters within that same level range. So actually using Crystal Countdown can actually impact the amount of liquid you get per hour. You see, I have both my Arcane Cultist and my V-Man in the same cauldron. to increase the amount of EXP, because remember one of the talents here, I think this impacts, I believe this impacts the character inside the liquid cauldron as well. But if you stick your V-Man in here with this talent upgraded, you'll get more alchemy EXP to kind of help you out in that leveling endeavor. And then just a reminder, use the crystal countdown, equip golden ham, because golden ham does increase the amount of skill EXP you can get, as well as if you're able to, I wouldn't use skilled dimwit. I'd actually use the, I think, balance of proficiency prayer. This character was just in lab, so I'm not leveling alchemy right now. I'm actually leveling lab EXP, and lab EXP is better scaled off of skill efficiency than skill EXP gain. Anyways, but alchemy EXP is better scaled with skill EXP gain. So if you're trying to level up alchemy levels, specifically equip as many skill EXP modifiers you can, including golden ham. So, and you can do that on V-Man as well, obviously, to help level up a little bit quicker. Yeah, I actually don't know. I would assume Maestro Transfusion works, but I'm honestly not sure how that works if you're primarily leveling alchemy on your AC. Does that transfer through to your V-Man as if he had V-Man or Maestro Transfusion? I don't know. That's a question I don't know, but I just know that generic skill EXP does impact alchemy. You can actually see it in your character's skill info. The reason I'm not showing it here is because I have Cranium Cook active, and if you have Cranium Cook active, you actually can't click into the skill info menu for alchemy. I don't know why that is. I just assume there's some like interaction here with cooking roadkill, because while you have Cranium Cooking active, you get more alchemy XP, or maybe it just generically gives you more alchemy XP, or I don't know, but you just can't click into it. So anyways, long story short, Crystal Countdown helps with alchemy EXP, help level up your alchemy a bit faster on your V-Man. The more levels of alchemy you get on your V-Man means more alchemy speed, which means more liquid regeneration. So keep that in mind. Also, if you're trying to aim for more liquid regeneration, it helps having a really good Hydropy drop stamp. Just get good, honestly. Moving on, talk about other stuff. Anyways, I guess that's, all that rambling aside, the biggest focus right now seems to be just, min-maxing very minute things of people's accounts, and end gamers have really attached to liquid generation as one of them. The reason liquid generation, I guess, spawned as more important focus point is because of candy clicking. People want to candy click more. To candy click more, you need more liquids, liquid cap and liquid rate, which you could desperately use, by the way, Moicano. You could use probably another 800 levels of your cap and rate here for all the cauldrons, to be completely honest with you. Just the more liquid you have available, the easier it'll be to unlock, if you haven't already, the World 7 bubbles, to upgrade those World 7 bubbles, to, candy click more if that's something of interest to you. And if you don't know what candy clicking is, I have a whole short dedicated to candy clicking. It's still valid and up to date. I would take a look at it if you're interested. It's a way to like really supercharge your alchemy, to really get you more damage, more pushing power, etc. But it's really only available to people who are at the like upper end game, who have billions of prints. And if that's not you, it's not really something I'd recommend. Speaking of which, I guess going back to your specific account, I'm talking like really generally about end gamers. You have candy clicking like available to you. Like you have a 25 billion copper ore print on your Deathbringer. One thing I want to point out, and I don't know if this is Toolbox being buggy or not, just make sure you have a print sample rate of 90% across your characters. Best way to double check that is if you go to construction, you'll see print sample rate at 90%. If you don't, and you have the Royal Sampler Prayer de-equipped, the best way to kind of up that, obviously just upgrading the samplet here, getting more vials at level 13, and trying to upgrade the snow slurry vial. This will increase your print sample rate. Or you can just go ahead and equip Royal Sampler. I mean, it's truthfully not that much of a negative in terms of class or skill EXP. So I would consider just equipping it and just not worrying about it. But I think this could just be Toolbox being buggy, because that can happen, I guess. And you're only like 2.9% off of the print sample rate. And in some of these characters, I really don't know what's happening here. It could be you actually don't have 90%. But keep in mind, the 90% print sample rate is actually really, really impactful for your prints. It's a big multiplier, and honestly worth considering reprinting if you weren't at 90% pre-prints or so. I don't even know why I clicked on that, but I guess while we're on here, if you have balls, and if you're using Kilroy and buying arcade balls through Kilroy, which I'd highly recommend. My biggest thing I'd buy from this shop is probably Emperor bonuses. This is like SS, like quadruple S tier. It's like amazing, because Emperor bonuses give you, your masterclass resource multipliers. They give you like, I think, did they give you generic damage? No, I don't remember. There's a bunch of things that Emperor bonuses give you, which I'm on my AC, so I can't really show you, I guess. Maybe go to my DK. I mean, just for the broad range of bonuses that the Emperor Castle gives you, like Equinox Bar fill rate, the masterclass resources, some unknown World 7 bonus, summoner win bonus, some drop rate, gaming bit gain, cheaper farming upgrades, stealth, like all this is fairly useful. And it's definitely something people go out of their way, and I'd recommend going out of your way to try to get. And it's definitely one of the better arcade bonuses to spend your golden balls on. So if you have spare golden balls, I'd highly recommend trying to upgrade. And if you are able to purchase in the gem shop the cosmic balls that's currently in the limited time, I would do that and use that on the Emperor bonuses because of how impactful it is. Or you can also wait and try to use that on other arcade bonuses that may come up in the future. Or if you want, you can also use it on some of the stuff here, like, I don't know, Villager EXP mults. I mean, I guess I'd probably save onto it, honestly, and use it on like the masterclass resources or something else. Okay, we can back to this character. Sorry, I was stacking the drop rate crystal on this guy because apparently Deditator Rams are the best crystal farm spot. Not Blokes, not Blood Bones, or not Neptunes, I commonly say. Apparently Deditator Rams is the best spot. Shout out to Brackets Boy. Thank you so much for finding that out. Sorry, I do realize that I breathe and I just hit the microphone. I'm really trying, guys. Okay. The Vial grind is definitely something you should undertake, Moicano. Definitely get those monster Vial materials capped out at level 13. I'm looking at, obviously, venison malts. This is a cost reduction for your stamps. I'm looking at the iron bar, the barley brew Vial. This one is very easy nowadays to get to level 13. The spook, this Vial right here, the purple souls, the orange souls, the breezy souls, all of the souls are really, really easy nowadays because of vaults, because of the species epoch talent from V-Man. Because of the boost food effect you get from obviously the onyxed feasty statue. And I'll get to Dragon Warrior in a second. I'm just trying to use my brain to orient things, which usually isn't the best way because I have ADHD. Anyways, Maw material, definitely the easiest one to get to 13. The Souls Vials, next easiest to get to 13. Then you have some bar vials. You have one bar vial I would recommend trying to get to 13. The other two are just a giant pain in the ass. And then obviously you have like a pretty easy sampling resource one to get to level 13. So, sample this or use candy, I guess, or I don't know. This one should be relatively easy with how much skill efficiency is available nowadays. So I guess try to get on it, try to get this level 13. But yeah, definitely Vial grinding is something you should absolutely do and try to finish off before World 7. And by finish off, I mean, obviously not God Shard, not the salt ones, but just the skill ones, the monster resource, that kind of stuff. If you guys noticed my breathing, please leave a comment. I really want to know if the breathing is a little bit more controlled in this video. Stamps. Okay. 5 exalted stamps, is that right? 6. Where's the 6? Okay, trippy drop. Okay. I agree for the most part with all of these. I think probably the better use of the maybe Summoner EXP one, honestly, in my opinion, maybe the Vendor Stamp, or maybe instead of the Golden Apple should have done Vendor Stamp. But Vendor Stamp is actually pretty important because it increases the amount of bags you can get from the Tiki Shop vendor. So you can spawn more Biggie hours to get more of the mini boss kills, and also that means more gems, more time candy, more of that stuff. Biggie hours specifically is very important because it's impacted by the DK orb, and I think this is a secret I let out like a while ago, but it's embedded in some of the account reviews I do. Biggie hours is like the best source of time candy that you can actually do in the entire game, because like I said, the DK orb stacks up. If your boomerang orb is big enough, it can actually hit all of the mimics. And so if your orb is like level 400, 420 plus, you can actually stack it up to like 500, 600, 700 relatively easily. And with enough orb stacking, like a high stack above the orb, the number above the orb, you can actually guarantee like minimum tiers of time candy. So you can get a guaranteed 1 hour time candy, a guaranteed 2, a guaranteed 4, a guaranteed 12. I think roughly with the 250 to 300 X drop rate people have available to them now at the like high end, I think a 24-hour time candy is guaranteed roughly 33% of the time, and the 12 hours guaranteed with that high of an orb. Like I think people are pushing like 800 orb on DK with like 300x drop rate, and they're able to guarantee a 12-hour time candy. I think the threshold's much lower to guarantee a 12-hour, but they have a higher rate of dropping a 24-hour time candy. So sorry, I recognize I breathed there. Just, you know, the vendor stamp is really important because that means one more biggie hours, which means another guaranteed 1 + 2 + 4 + 12 hours of time candy, and then a 33% chance at another 24. And the 72 obviously would be a nice bonus that comes out like every 10 times or so. I'm not sure the actual drop rate would be at that like high statistic of orb, but the vendor stamp is a very good stamp to exalt, especially for early game players when they need that time candy. And actually, before I misspeak, I'm not sure at what level of vendor stamp it actually gives you that fourth bag. There's also other factors that come into play when it comes to shop capacity, such as the World 5 achievement right here. This, you actually get, if you guys don't know how to get this secret achievement, which I suspect most people have at this point because it's not that hard, you just go behind the shop vendor here, then you open the shop, and if it doesn't work, just keep retrying it. You should be able to get the achievement. That's the secret achievement. It just gives you increased shop capacity. I think there's also bribes for shop capacity. Somewhere in here, quantity in all shops by 20%. I think another one, I don't know, there's a few like sporadic sources of shop capacity. I don't know where all of them are, but I know for a fact that you need to exalt the vendor stamp to unlock at least that fourth bag. So if you have the ability to get another exalted stamp, which you might, I would highly recommend it and try to get that so you can get more mini bosses per day. Let's see. 298 billion. It's going to be hard, obviously, but I think you could do it. I mean, if you're in World 6 for Windwalker, getting to like 1 trillion dust isn't that hard, right? I'm trying to remember. I haven't done Windwalker in like actual ages, so I truthfully don't know. I guess I can see how much dust I have, right? Yeah, I mean, getting to the trillions once you're in World 6 is not like impossible. So you can still get like the 7th stamp. So I would try to push for it if you can, just to help you out in that endeavor. Tesseract. Have you reached like a good stopping point, I guess, is something. Your Arcanist Cataclysm 2 here. I mean, I think you can go further. Well, actually, before I say that, let me take a look at your AC level. 644. Talent levels. Okay, you're almost at the 400 level. I would probably try to get your tentacle, your tentacle to like level 400, just to help you progress AC a little bit more. I would also recommend trying to do some more skilling. I guess, I mean, this kind of depends. A lot of things kind of depend here, but AC, honestly, for early-ish game players, if you're at level 600, 700, if you can push to the Jewel of Deadly Wrath, which is the upgrade for Deathbringer Bone gain, I would recommend probably stopping there. Once you hit level 400 talents, I think that's what you should do. However, obviously, another thing you can do with this character is, obviously upgrading lab. The more lab levels you get, the more arcane cultist crit damage you get, which will help you push a little bit further. It just kind of smooths out the damage that you do on AC. And obviously hitting that 100% crit chance is very vital, so you can guarantee crits. And then every percent you get over that can actually mega crit on your abilities. So it's worth going over 100% crit chance on AC. That may be out of the realm of possibility for you, I suspect, because you're 255 lab, and people hit reliably like 100% crit chance when they're nearing like level 500. So you're probably nowhere near the 100% crit chance. But that being said, I still think Jewel of Deadly Wrath is something you should try to push for. Maybe as you reach your goal with Justice Hours, the 24k. Yeah, once you get the 24k here, the 24k here, and what, 8k or something? 5k? What's the... It's below the 10k or whatever that mark is. That's where I stop Wisdom, to be honest. I feel like Wisdom's just kind of not really that good past 10k. Yeah, once you get the 24k justice, which I 100% agree you should do, and then 24k hours on bravery, I think I saw some of your characters kind of split priorities and doing bravery and justice. No, I was hallucinating that. Okay, I would straight up just do the 24k hours on justice first, to be honest, because as you get more hours in justice, the more reliable your runs become, and justice is the fastest source of monument AFK gain you can get in the early game, just because of how, I mean, with how variable the runs can be. As you get more practice, or if you use the web app, the Idleon -justice.forsell app, I think I talk about this relatively frequently, so this shouldn't be too much of a secret. This will help kind of guide you. So say you're on case 16 and you get the bag, the Mr. Bribe guy, and you don't know what to do. This will straight up give you recommendations of what to do, and give you reasoning as to why that is. I would, contrary to what most Idleon players do, I'd highly recommend reading and trying to comprehend what that is. That way you have to rely less and less on the web version of that app. So you kind of solidify that in your brain to help you out in that endeavor. Sorry, again, I'm trying to control it. I'm more cognizant of it. I hope it's less annoying. Yeah, so 24k hours in justice is very important because it'll help you get more monument AFK gain, and 24k hours gets you the +2 mental health and dismissals, which helps smooth out your justice runs to push you a little bit further, to allow you the chance to see monument AFK bonuses. Sorry, the way the monuments work is you need to reach a certain wave threshold for you to be able to see the higher tier bonuses. So daily lamp wishes, monument AFK gain, justice bonus multi. I think justice bonus multi you start seeing beyond wave 75, if I'm not mistaken. I think the wiki has this information. Let's double check. Flashbang, apologize. Potentially. Yeah, it does. Can appear at, so monument AFK gain can appear starting at wave 52, and then justice bonus multi can start appearing at wave 77 plus. So that does not mean when you hit wave 52, 53, you're guaranteed to see monument AFK gain. It just means there is a chance. The exact chance will increase the higher waves you get, as far as I know. At least, that used to be the case for bravery. So the higher waves you get, the more likely you'll see monument AFK gain, or I believe so. And obviously the more chests you get, as you get past wave 52, the better quality of those chests will be. So you get higher like tier of rewards, or like not tier of rewards, but like a total levels of that reward. So you get higher levels of that monument AFK gain, the higher levels of justice bonus multi. And yeah, it's like really important. So highly recommend getting that 24k hours for that reason. So you are able to smooth out the runs in justice a little bit better. So you are able to find more monument AFK gain. So you can find justice bonus multi, which will multiply the amount of monument AFK gain that you see, which will help tie in to bravery to help you get that 24k hours faster. And with wisdom as well, try to help you smooth out and get that 10k hours much, much faster. You've gotten to Gambit Cavern, but you haven't yet gotten to the last one, the Sanctum, the Dragon Warrior statue. The best part of the Caverns update so far is the Dragon Warrior statue, how impactful it is for your account, and it also signifying kind of the end of your progression for the whole, because there's no cave 16, 17 yet. So reaching 15 is like the pinnacle of pre-World 7 prep. So how do you get there? Obviously trying to focus on the other villagers first. Primarily engineer, trying to finish out your schematics, even though you don't have like the last cavern unlocked. Just unlocking the schematic and using, or rather, just having it unlocked will give you more EXP for your villagers. A rather small amount of EXP, but it's EXP nonetheless, which you desperately need. And your Cosmo bonuses, getting more pips into your bonuses will help you in the long run with your account, because you'll get more rupee value. That's obviously pretty important. It'll help you get a little bit more lamp wishes, which is pretty good because you'll get extra wishes per day. The villager EXP per schematic, as we mentioned, is not really that impactful, but again, it's more EXP. The study rate for Belaya, this is really, really important because it'll help you level up the studies that Belaya presents, which, you know, most notably, obviously the bravery minimum sword damage, allowing you to skip those trivial fights. More lamp wishes per day. Lamp wishes is like the end game goal for most people inside of inside of the whole. It's like the lamp wishes are like a really end game like push towards mechanic, something you want to do. I do want to call out the justice one. You don't need to push this past level 1. All leveling this up does is increase the amount of chances you'll potentially see an opal, which isn't always good, because that opal could replace something like AFK, the monument AFK gain, the justice bonus multi. So in some cases, I wouldn't really recommend pushing this past level 1. I'd rather focus your Belaya study rate on other things like the Gloomy Cavern, trying to get more kills for the Monarchs, so you get more drop rate, more classy XP, more damage, etc. Whatever the studies give. The bell, obviously, the more bell levels you get means you get more daily lamp wishes, you get more bucket fill rate, you get more harp note gain, you can get the more rupees, and the bell is very kind of slept on mechanic, something I'd probably recommend putting more levels into. Try to push this like level 10. The well obviously is also something. This is a great study you can put your character, your librarian into to help you get more bucket fill rate. More bucket fill rate might help you get more opals. That'll help you get more gray DNA. It'll help you get more damage. It'll help you get what else? What else does it give you? It's probably other stuff. I guess you can level up the measure or stuff, I suppose. The den, this is a great one for opals. This will help multiply your score to help you potentially push another tier of the score for the hound den area, to help you get more opals. I think I said that like 7 times, but yeah, just, you know, get that up, help you get more opals, push into your characters, into the villagers to help you level up and progress a little bit faster. I guess talking about the measure, trying to get this to 15 is going to be vitally important, because number 1, obviously, or 16, sorry, 16 is the max, I think. Okay, my cat just fell off the table with my work headphones. You're able to get more gambit points, you're able to get more cavern resources, you're able to get more clicker resources, you're able to get potentially another exalted summoning doubler, potentially. More rupee value. This is very important because it'll help multiply the amount of rupees you can get out of your jars, which, you know, is very important for progressing the jar mechanic. And then obviously drop rate, which doesn't really impact you right now because you don't have golem kills, but this eventually is drop rate, and that's good. So maybe consider doing a swap for the engineer and going into measurer to help you level up your measure to level 15 or 16 to help you progress the Gambit Cavern, help you progress the rupee or the jar mechanic a little bit faster. And to that effect, I mean, if you want more monument AFK gain, this is like the easiest way to get more monument AFK gain is by leveling up the measurer bonus. So, you know, getting more rupees, and by getting more, by progressing the measure, you're able to get more rupee value here. And this is a really big increase to rupee value. So I'd highly recommend trying to push and unlock the measure, or try to get higher levels of it so you can funnel that increase of your rupee gain into more monument AFK gain, which will help you finish justice a little bit faster. You know, I suspect you're probably trying to get to the advanced collection, which I don't fault you for. I think it's probably, yeah, I can see you wanting to go for that first. I go for it. I say go for it, and then swap over to measurer. I hope that's your goal. Sailing, just want to make sure you have all sovereign. Perfect. Arctis, you're around 15 on these. That's good. It's a good stopping point for now. I'm always an advocate for trying to push more divinity levels. You've hit that 9DQ red super bit, which is perfect. I will completely gloss over the mutations in the logbook because you've hit the tier 7 for all of these, and that's generally what I'd recommend stopping at for your sanity. Slab, this is kind of often forgotten about by a bunch of people, but don't sleep on Slab, because we don't know what the future is going to offer. We don't know what mechanics are going to be expanded upon the World 7 release, the expansion. He might introduce more islands, which means we need more sailing speed. He might introduce more gods, or The effect of gods will be introduced with Countercrook and Bagger, and so we'll need divinity points. Obviously, gaming is getting a huge expansion, so more slab will help you with more bits. Sneaking, I imagine, might get an expansion, so the Jade coin here would be pretty impactful. Summoning, I think it's been teased, we'll get an expansion, so we'll need more essence gain here. Damage, obviously, very impactful because you need more damage to push World 7. So slab is annoying, but it's honestly like a very easy way to get a ton of pain points of your account kind of easily fixed. And I do want to make a quick call out to my free-to-play account. Doing slab grinding is actually pretty important for me because, you know, early game, the biggest issue I have right now is like sailing speed, and honestly there's not really a lot of sources of sailing speed for me to focus on right now, and so I've been doing worship, trying to do tower defense for the MSA sailing speed. I've been doing slab grind a little bit. I just recently got up to 900 items so I can get more sailing speed. I just got Eldritch artifacts to help get more sailing speed with the sailing tablet as well. But all of that said, it just kind of all comes together to help you in very minute ways. And you know, some people will say, oh, slab's boring, I don't care about slab, I don't want to do it. But keep in mind, how do you get to the end game? You have to do these small annoying grinds because they all add up. 1 + 1 = 2. You don't get 0 + 0 = 2, you know? I hope that makes sense. Farming, okay. I mean, it's relatively hard in my experience to get to 230 crops. Most of the way people get there obviously is, you know, pushing day market as much as you can, getting to the hundreds to thousands of billions of cost for these, getting to 440% +1 grown for stronger vines. The reason that's important is because if you bought all of the Instagrow generators, 440% will guarantee you, I think, 7 or 8 crops or so on the crop itself. So it'll multiply, help you get to that 100k just a little bit faster, and it will contribute to more magic beans when you do trade in those crops. Nutritious soil, obviously getting more growth speed, trying to hit that sub 1 second growth speed for glassy is very, very critical. And part of the way you do that, you can kind of influence that a little bit with nutritious soil. But obviously the night market upgrade for speed, you know, getting this to around 40% and upping nutritious soil, those two combines will help impact getting, you know, that sub 1 second growth speed to help you grow those crops a little bit faster to get to your highest glassy crop faster. Along the same vein, the more farming EXP you get, the better it is. Farming EXP directly impacts your crop evolution chance, because remember, there is a star sign for crop evolution chance based off of your farming level. So the more farming level you get, the more crop evo you get. Obviously, if you have a star sign double, you can also equip that star sign, even if it's infinite, to double that even further to get more crop evolution chance. Yeah, and then obviously biology boost, no brainer. It's crop evo chance, relatively small amount of crop evo chance, but it's crop evo chance. So if you're trying to push it, obviously you need more crop evo chance. Evolution GMO, this is obviously what you want to keep on pushing if you want to push to 220 or 200, 210, 220 crops, whatever. Evolution GMO is very, very important. As a nice comfort level, I try to get value GMO to like 2% and I stop upgrading it. OG FERT, just nice number, try to get to like 4, 4.2, 4.3, whatever, higher growth chance to get you that higher chance to overgrowth your crops. And the higher chance you get, the more, you know, reliably you can leave it overnight to get to that 1 million, 2 million OG, to help you get more magic beans when you wake up, collect those crops, turn in those magic beans. And obviously I mentioned 40% there is a goal. Okay, mastery, you're at mastery 3. Getting to mastery 4 obviously is really important to help you get that plus 30 max level for those sneaking items and that 1.1 times damage multi. Mastery 5 is like the ultimate goal, but I don't suspect you'll really get there. That kind of requires you do the Nothing Islands 40k hours, I believe, to get that 2% sneaking stealth per stealth level of your character or whatever. It's like, it usually like 10x's your stealth values, and that's like what pushes people into mastery 5. But outside of that, obviously trying to push Windwalker, trying to upgrade that stealth upgrade inside the compass will help you with that. Trying to get higher levels of your gemstones here, getting higher talent levels for your Windwalker as well to help increase the multiplier of those gemstones, getting your gemstones like 100k. Sorry, I'm gonna sneeze real quick. See, I muted my mic. Normally I wouldn't do that in the account reviews, but I'm cognizant. I love that word. Also, You're trying to EXP farm. Okay, this makes sense. Yeah, you're in Mastery 3. So what that means to me is you definitely need to gemstone farm if you want to push further to Mastery 4. And you also need to do some more charm farming generally. Trying to get a higher level of this gold question mark will massively increase your action speed, which means you take less time to do stuff in sneaking. So whether you're finding items or waking up from being dead, you need more action speed to help you out with that. Also more stealth, kind of a no-brainer. More jade coin, also kind of a no-brainer. The max level for your charms, also a no-brainer. Sneaking EXP, which is what you're trying to do, also a no-brainer. Even if you're fresh Mastery 3, I think just go back down to Mastery 2 to those earlier floors. Try to get a higher level of Aquamarine. Try to get higher levels of that Moissanite. Try to get higher levels of Starite. Aquamarine, Starite, and Moissanite. These are the top 3 gems you want to farm out to 100k first. Reason being is because they kind of either impact themselves, they impact each other, they impact the stealth, they impact the action speed of your characters. They will massively increase and snowball your experience inside of stealth, in sneaking, I mean. And definitely, trying to get that Veil Rosary combo, trying to get a high level of a Veil and Rosary to help you out in that endeavor. You could try to push a higher level of the gloves. I don't suspect you'll get much of an impact out of that, to be completely honest. At this point, I think the better thing for you to do is try to get a higher level of this gold question mark. Summoning Endless 172. That's pretty good. I don't really have advice for you regarding summoning. Summoning I feel like is a very straightforward mechanic, and if you don't understand it, I really don't know how to explain it to you other than get more damage. And just if you can buy just whatever the cheapest upgrade is, buy it, because the more upgrades you get, the cheaper things are and the more damage you get. So like it's kind of like the master classes. Like you can just upgrade anything and you will impact your progress in every way in that masterclass. Like summoning is just upgrade something, you'll progress better. Okay, definitely before World 7 drops, I would try to get most of these done to 100k, because like we said, World 7 might expand upon the beanstalk. It might go to 1 million, it might go to 10 million stack wise on the beanstalk to increase that stack number to get more gold food effect. So get this to 100k, like max it out for the time being. That way, when World 7 drops, you can kind of prepare in that aspect, because apparently Lava's like really likes the beanstalk mechanic, which honestly, it's not a bad mechanic. I like it. He might expand upon it, and you want to kind of prepare for that or set yourself up for success. So my number one priority for right now is obviously like the easiest one for you to do, probably between golden bread, golden kebabs, going to World 5 and doing 100k golden hamster gummies to kind of get that done, even though you may not need the sailing AFK time increase. I think there's an achievement actually for completing this. Let's see, World 6. Yeah, I think it's the secret achievement, the big hamster. It gets you more drop chance, like a flat 4% drop chance. Like, ooh, who cares, right? But that's still pretty impactful. Also, it's another golden food that you get completed on the beanstalk, and it's just nice to have. And it's also more tome points. The next, obviously, I guess the next important one, maybe the World 6 foods. The golden nigiri for the class EXP is obviously pretty good. The golden dumplings for the AFK gains, obviously pretty good. The World 3 ones for the skill EXP, the shrine level up rate. This is also pretty important. So, I'd recommend probably getting that to 100k as well. Golden peanut, obviously another one that I'd highly recommend trying to get to 100k. So, just crafting those resources, doing some World 1 gold food farming, or not gold food farming, but like crystal farming under DK to get the hot dogs and the other resources you may need to help you craft those golden peanuts a little bit faster. Okay. I don't know what we really skipped over. I guess maybe cooking. Yeah, I'm honestly just use your ladles and upgrade your meals. Remember that as you get more meal levels, the more meal cooking speed you'll get because of the V-Man talent, the Blood Marrow talent. It massively increases. It's still currently the biggest increase to meal cooking speed in the entire game. Even if you've doubled Diamond Chef, blood marrow is just massive for meal cooking speed, because the way it works, this is 1.012 to the power of whatever your total meal level is, which, you know, at your stage, I think you're in like the 7,000 levels for your meal levels, which actually I think cooking will tell you what your meal level is. Thought it was somewhere. Yeah, well, it's somewhere in Toolbox. It actually might be. I know it's probably indicated. You can actually see it in game if you go to your VMan and click on the blood marrow talent. You can actually see how much like total meal level you have. So you can do the math yourself, but it is a huge multiplier to your meal cooking speed. And just the more levels you get of your meals, the faster your meal cooking speed will get. So highly recommend trying to cap out your meals at 110. If you have Diamond Chef doubled, or if you don't have it doubled, I'd recommend doubling it, to be completely honest, because of how powerful it is. Again, to give perspective on Diamond Chef and how powerful it is, let's go to my free-to-play account where I have level 60 meals, and voila, it's all done. It's completed. Why? Because Diamond Chef is doubled at level 13, and it gives 2.32 to the whatever multiplier meal speed is. And I don't even have, guys, I haven't even started Atom Collider. Like, I don't have what is it, nitrogen? The one that fluoride, the one that gives you meal cooking speed. Like, that was pretty impactful, and that like gave a bunch of meal cooking speed. But I have 3E53 cooking speed on my first kitchen here, and that's primarily due to Diamond Chef and Blood Marrow, and like no other big multipliers. I think I have. Hold on, not to over exaggerate things, but I'm pretty sure I have one Super Chow. That's it. So Diamond Chef is like really powerful, and if you can double it, I'd highly recommend doubling it, because I mean, you're almost done with cooking, don't get me wrong, and I know I'm gonna get probably a lot of people asking, like, why would I even care about doubling Diamond Chef right now? Need I remind you, somewhere in this future content blog, oh, he just posted recently, cookies, cool. Scroll back a little bit. Here we go. What does this look like, guys? That is a plate. That is a plate, right? That is the icon for a plate. This is a meal. World 7 is going to introduce new meals, which means we need more meal cooking speed if we have any chance of trying to get those meals to level 110, because of how much it takes Nyan Burger to get to 110 is absurdly difficult, and you cannot complete cooking without double Diamond Chef or without that no meal left behind increase that you get from Jade Emporium and also that paid pack. So I would highly recommend trying to double Diamond Chef if you haven't already, because while it may not be useful to you right now, with the advent of World 7 introducing probably more meals than any world ever introduced before, because of the scope of World 7, it might actually introduce that many meals, which means we're going to need an insane amount of cooking speed to be able to complete World 7, or rather get those meals to a meaningfully high level. And if you haven't doubled Diamond Chef, I think you're shooting yourself in the foot, to be completely honest with you, or at least restricting your progress comparatively to other players, which I know, you know, I often say not to compare yourself to other players, but if you want to make your life a little bit easier, Diamond Chef is definitely something I would highly recommend Prisma bubbling. Okay, cool. I think I've talked enough, and it's also almost midnight, so I'm gonna stop the review there. Moicano, I hope you gathered something in between my rants about, you know, just general endgame meta and like what endgamers are doing right now to help your account in some way. I hope it was generally helpful. And I guess last call out, obviously shrines, you know, get more golden cheese on your characters to help you level up your shrines and consolidate them in one area, like in World 5. So that way, in World 5 Town, that is, that way when you claim AFK time on your characters, it goes towards that shrines. And if you have golden cheese on your characters, it'll help level up the shrines a little bit faster. Okay, anyways, Moicano, thank you so much for the account. As always, I appreciate it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a great day. Bye-bye.